Welcome, Warrior. This is your end of week Warrior wrap up. Now, I don't know where I'm going to be all weekend, so I figured there's so much happening, so much I want to make you aware of that I want to share. Well, I have a couple of minutes now with you. So let's have a 5x5. Check in with me. Edie's already here telling everybody to hit that like button. Thank you, Edie. That is your Warrior job, and you are excellent at it. And also, Edie, a great big shout out for all of your great artwork that you do that we share with our survivors. Remember, a big part of our mission at the Warriors is to empower survivors, support survivors, be with survivors, and always listen to survivors. So art means more than you will know. So thank you for sending that along. And also about your great, I think it's your great-great-grandmother. Interesting story. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. Lionel Nation is here. Fred is here, 5x5. That is good enough for me. Let us start. So it is a very sultry afternoon here in New York City, and I went out earlier today with my saint of a husband. That's what I call my husband, Lionel, because he is a saint. And what was in front of my eyes, the largest, and I posted a picture of it, but the picture doesn't actually do it justice because it's the biggest, I don't know what it is, sign, mural, something hanging off the side of the building down the street about AI. Now, because you know what we talk about here on the Warriors, you know I talk about AI and think that AI is the most important topic surrounding exploitation, our children, families, culture, society right now. It's got so many tentacles, right? So especially as our kids are trying to navigate in this world that none of us really grew up in, right? And I see this sign. Just go to our Warriors X account. I still call it Twitter, X account, Twitter account, of this woman kind of staring straight ahead, very robotic, very Stepfordy wife. And it's something like, don't hire humans, hire AI, something, something, something. And it's a software application. I looked it up quickly, and it started in San Francisco about 2 years ago. But again, more brainwashing of society, of machines are better than humans. There is a push in the AI society, definitely. When you dig deeper, when you research, when you look at things, these handful of people, because I dare say it's a handful of people controlling all of this, they want definite humans and machines to interact and become one. That's what I'm saying, okay? I'm not a scientist or a medical doctor or a lawyer. I'm just putting this together as an American warrior. A machine is a machine. A human, nothing can replace a human. But to go outside in my neighborhood and see this big, long thing hanging off the side of a big, tall building that you can't help but miss when you're walking down the street because it's so big. Again, this slow AI. So I want everybody to be aware of, let me point out again that we have the Alliance for a Better Future recently launched that is dealing with AI for our kids, for our families, for America. Remember, we want AI to work for us. We don't, as humans, want to work for AI. So I want everybody to be aware of that website, Alliance for a Better Future. I'll have everything in the body of this video because we really, really, I know I say this all the time. It's the truth. We have to get on top of things. We have to really address things in our own, just for our own home, for ourselves. Then another headline that has grabbed attention this week is this singer, David. He spells his name very, very, he's kind of been in the back of my mind for months now. Let me go back and tell you the story. He spells his name, capital D, the number 4, VD. How you get David out of that, I don't really know. I didn't really research it. I don't really care. He was it came forward about 7 months ago. He's been under investigation in California for this 14-year-old missing teen, Celeste Rivas, who was found in a Tesla car in a junkyard. The car was registered to him. And, we're a family program, and there's certain things we can't say here, right? But Celeste was found in that car, right? Her parents reported her missing a year earlier, would have been 13. Described, typical runaways, so nobody's ever looking. When these children are, a child may be called a runaway, that's a missing child, okay? But also, nobody was really looking for Celeste. Somehow she ended up with this David person, this rapper, this gamer. He started out as a gamer. He's young. He might be 21 now. But what I want to point out about this is, why did it take, there was so much information I was reading over the months and digging around for, because I always heard some rumors about it. Again, I have no proof. But there are a lot of missing girls in California, Los Angeles area. I'm just going to leave it at that. And again, nobody was looking for Celeste. So they're most likely not looking for any of these other missing teens and young women at all. Okay? Yet I always heard there perhaps, I'm just saying this, maybe there's a connection here to something bigger than just this one teen, and we should pray for Celeste, beautiful young girl. Look for pictures of her, just whole life ahead of her, how she ended up in this vicious circle of whatever was going on there. But I was thinking, perhaps this is a bigger picture, because there are so many girls missing in California, all over the country, but especially in this area of LA. Maybe there's some kind of ring going on, perhaps. I always want to know, with children missing, babies, it's hard for me to even say babies. Where do these babies come from? We never hear the follow-up. We may hear arrested, may see headlines, right? But we never hear about really too much. We do sometimes, but not a lot. That child, what happened to that child? Because either the child's no longer with us, which is the case, nobody wants to talk about, or it's a lifelong trauma for that child who grows up to be an adult and carries it forward, lifelong trauma. We never really hear what goes on there, kind of thing. It's the same kind of way, the analogy, let me just digress a little bit, that we hear about women in particular being arrested for prostitution. We don't really hear much about the sex buyer. Now think about that. Shouldn't we be hearing about that buyer of that child? I'm going to talk about minors right now, right? Because the preferred demo for trafficking is a minor. So why aren't we hearing more about that buyer? Yeah, sometimes we hear about pimps and traffickers. I'm talking about the buyer, because if we curbed, it's kind of, well, none of this is easy, but it's kind of, if you curbed the buyer, you held them responsible, you outed them, you really put more than these classes or a fine or anything. This is a child. Anything to do with a minor is, I think you know what it is. Again, we have algorithms here, so I'm not saying certain words, but a child, it's a crime, okay? So why aren't we hearing more about that, the buyer? I don't know if anybody has ideas, please share them about that, because I don't understand. I also hear from our warriors out there. I'm in the middle of New York City, right? So I see it on a daily basis what's going on here. But in our boroughs, especially we call it outer boroughs, you have Queens and you have Brooklyn, out into the communities, Bronx. We were in the Bronx recently. That the crime among young people committing these horrific crimes against their communities, against each other, against businesses, it goes unreported. We're not seeing a lot of this in the media. And why is this? Kids are angry. And then again, in a place like New York and many other places across the country, you don't have any, repercussions about any of this. And we also have the traffickers and pimps and criminals recruiting, especially the cartels are working. Cartels are working. I wish people would wake up in all 50 states. And they're recruiting our young people, middle and high school students, American kids, okay, to commit crimes, because kids don't go to jail. Kids don't go to prison. So we just have this revolving criminal activity going on. But again, we've got to there's a lot going on and it's complex, and it become very overwhelming, right? So we got to kind of stick to one thing, but I got to talk about a lot of things. But AI, I've been telling my husband for months now, this is what I'm stuck on, because I believe people like Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, right? You can talk about all these platforms and certainly the harms caused, and we have proof now, and we've had 2 successful court cases recently, more pending. Oh, they'll pay out billions of dollars because that's a drop in the bucket for these people, right? Who made all that money off the backs of our children and us, right? And have harmed, we have the proof now, harmed mental health of our kids, cognitive abilities. Remember, these are our future adults, future leaders. They're being so harmed right now. And now I always say to my husband, yeah, they'll just pay out the billions because it's about AI, artificial intelligence. AGI, right? Artificial generative, where it creates itself once it starts going. It's the only way I can explain it. Remember, this is all machines. I feel like since they dumped ChatGPT on us a few years ago, and it was cute and everybody was using it, and there was this and that, and a lot of media attention, softening everybody up for, this is great. But behind the scenes, this is in my mind what I'm thinking. They were unleashing what they've been working on. And that would be really because for no other reason, because they do have already so much money. I can't imagine why they want to keep making. I guess they want to keep, they're greedy, want to make more and more and more. And again, there's no regulations on anything. Have we learned nothing from 30 years with the internet? Pretty much the birth was in 1996. We know the harms now. We have everybody coming forward, which makes me very proud that so many people are stepping up from all different areas, right, left, Republicans, Democrats. I don't like those words. I like one word, and that's called, we are Americans. American? What's best for America? What's best for society? What's best for children and family? I like that, America. I don't like all these labels. So many are stepping up. So many are voicing their opinion. But I just want to go back to, walking out the door to run an errand, and then on my corner, I'm faced with this huge sign, billboard, not even a billboard, bigger than that. It's draped over the side of the building. This fake woman, this AI woman, and she's going to replace, don't hire humans. So blatant. But again, kids see that. What kind of future is this for our kids? But again, I am so happy that so many are stepping up. I told you about the Alliance for a Better Future. I want all of you to look that up. That is betterfutureai.org. See how you can get involved. Now we have teachers and families really pushing back. We have, let me make sure I don't miss any. I'm not sure, Fred. This must be what a psychological therapist session sounds like. Very interesting, very informative, but all I can do is listen. Well, Fred, listen and take action somehow. Squirrely wifey is, I'm late but back. Okay, you're never late. Whenever you get here, you get here, or you watch it later. And thank you all for spending time with me and letting me explain a few things that are going on end of week, right? Because we have things across the country. We have things coming out of Washington right now, but it's about what I want you to do in your home. Be a warrior in your home, in your community. But so many are stepping up. For instance, in a Philadelphia suburb, Lower Merion County, I don't know if you're familiar with Philadelphia area, right? So it's kind of a suburb. There is a school, and 200 parents have come together, and they are demanding, we don't want Chromebooks in this school. And they're getting other parents on board, but they got a little over 200 right now. They want pencil to paper, and I've talked about it a lot. It's called pen to paper, pencil to paper. They want actual textbooks and paper packages of assignments, and they're fighting very hard. But they have the law on their side. There was a technical, some kind of law from years and years ago about the school does have to provide, like packages of assignments or something. So they're using that to their advantage with a lawyer. Of course, the school is fighting back because everybody's gotten sloppy and used to, you do it all on the computer, right? Let's face it. And a lot of teachers are overwhelmed, let's face it. Large class sizes, kids out of control, right? Pay 3302, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm in New York City, you're in Oklahoma. We got everybody from around the country, but that this school is doing this, and they're not the only one. There has been a movement across the United States. Again, the media doesn't cover it, We at the Warriors, a lot of Warriors feed us information from around the country. We find out things where parents, now this is really taking action and being a warrior, are coming together and demanding no more Chromebooks, these government issue Chromebooks. Because there was a study that said, about 97% of the kids during the school day on these Chromebooks, right, are doing other things during the day, looking at TikTok and Snap and all that jazz, right? So this is tremendous hope. This is tremendous progress from the first time I spoke to all of you, okay? I agree, squirrely wifey, no better way to learn and retain information than having to write things down. I am a great old-fashioned, it's funny because I learned it in 6th grade from my teacher. We had to keep, I kid you not, let me share this with you. We had to keep an assignment pad in the upper right-hand corner of our desk. And she taught us. This was a nun. And I have no complaints about my Catholic school education, so I never had anything bad happening. I never witnessed anything bad happening. Nobody ever hit me with rulers, any of that stuff. I never saw any of that. I had a good education in New Jersey. And she made us keep an assignment pad on the upper right-hand corner. And we had to, every class, in 6th grade, we pretty much stayed in the one classroom, write down the assignments. Okay, as she was giving them out, she'd write them on the chalkboard, and I loved. And I remember she said, "There's a lot of satisfaction in when you do your homework at night and you cross it off and you're done." To this day, I use reporter notebooks. I write a list every morning, and I get great satisfaction out of. I remember my list because I write it down. That goes to what you're saying, squirrely wifey. And then I love crossing it off to say I'm done. I mean, the list never ends, and I'm always adding to the list, but it's a lot of satisfaction when something's been lingering on the list for a while and you finally cross it off. I also like to, if I'm on a train or something, on a legal pad, I like to write lots of ideas and things because I remember them. There's something about handwriting. And there's also a new report that, where is this coming out of that I saw? I want to say it's Alabama, I believe, where they are returning to cursive writing, their education czar. They are returning to textbooks. I think it's Alabama. And the kids are retaining the information better, and they want to learn the cursive, okay? Now we also have kids coming forward. We don't want to be on the computers all day in school. We want a book. We want a paper assignment. This is like cooler than carrying around these Chromebooks and tablets all day. So I'm going to say there is so much hope. But now we're sitting in the AI. I'm still a little bit in shock because I went outside and had to see this thing draped over the side of a building of a woman. And it says, "Don't hire humans." And she's looking all Stepfordy. And she's some kind of AI assistant that will scout out positions or jobs. I've got to get a better handle on what she's exactly. I shouldn't say she because this is AI and AI is not human, right? But our kids are looking at this. So they see a picture of a woman. They're going to think AI in their minds. AI is human. A lot of people are going to think it too. AI may be this woman. So that being said, this coming Tuesday, I'll be in D.C. with lots of what we call survivor parents and advocates and activists, and having a vigil on the Capitol Hill lawn. Be a beautiful presentation with all of these beautiful children no longer with us who've been harmed, internet harm, sextortion, cyberbullying, eating disorders, buying drugs online, fentanyl poisonings. Remember, it's not an overdose. It's an intentional poisoning. We have to keep talking about that every single day because I just saw a report and I have to do some research. It was right before I sat down here. It's something called like cyclophene, something, 10 times the potency of fentanyl. And you can't detect it with those drug strips or anything like that. And they're putting it in recreational drugs. That's what I saw quickly. I have to do some research. Fred, oh, you don't have to. Don't worry, Fred. I'm safe. I'm very safe. Thank you for your thoughts and all of that. I am with my people. But the vigil and the presentation of all these beautiful children with going to be roses scattered all over and a press conference. Congress has to decide. They're dragging their feet about child safety. You're going to go with big tech Congress, or you're going to go with parents, children, families, Americans, okay, that you work for us. You work for us. And you better start stepping it up. Because we already understand the AI is here. We already understand the administration. I'm sorry, folks. They're all in on AI. They want it K through 12 in the schools. They don't even know what that means. I guarantee they do not understand what AI in the schools means right now. What it will do to children long term, even short term, right? Because the kids aren't understanding what this means. The parents aren't being trained to understand. And the teachers don't understand. And it's already being embedded, these AI companions and things like that, like Gemini, these programs like that, chatbots. It's dangerous, so dangerous. And this is a very respectful gathering on Tuesday to then go to, as we say, the Hill, and to go to different offices, and it will be an army. It will be warriors. To remind them they have a duty. We believe, okay, administration, okay, federal government, we don't want, I do not like to drag government into things. I really don't, because if big tech really cared or had any kind of moral, anything, they would have developed, and don't give me that they have safeguards and this and that and safety features. Yeah, they do, but they make it very difficult, as proven by internal memos even, and whistleblowers, to put those safeguards on devices, to understand. Most parents are busy, and kids, they're not can't go through 31 steps on an iPhone. It's very confusing. It's in small print when you buy an iPhone. Nobody's looking at that. Nobody reads all that. They make it difficult on purpose because their job is eyeballs, keeping one addicted to swiping, ad revenue, money, 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 okay? And again, there's no regulation. They could have done a much better job. They could still do a much better job. But right now, again, I'm investigating and learning more. We have legislation that sounds good, not passed yet, is being presented, right? Sounds good, looks good. You would think if you read things quickly, oh, this is great for kids and families' safety, right? And who's writing this legislation from what we hear? Big tech behind the scenes. It ultimately benefits them. So until government steps in, and we have something like the Kids Online Safety Act, Senate version 1748, until we have something, the GUARD Act, which is moving up quickly, bipartisan, okay? We have to get the government involved. It's their duty to protect everybody. I do not like, personally, anything with age verification. If we had a law, whether it's no social media, 16 and under, now look, we know kids would get around it. A lot of kids would, but it would put a dent in everything. If we had something like that even, right? Age verification. You got to get your parents' photo ID, and they got to sign you up. And how many kids? Think of all the vulnerable kids. Their parents aren't going to be giving out, their license or their. It's more government surveillance, even though we have so much of it already, right? It'd be nothing new, but still we're handing over more and more. Why would we want this for our children? Go through all these hoops, right? With this age verification and the technology for it. I was in a meeting about a year ago. I don't know, it scans the eyeball, but it can detect you to be 2 years older. It makes mistakes. Why do we want to go through all that jazz, right? We don't want this age. We don't want to be uploading more, right? When everybody's watching us already. What are they doing with all this information? And now we have AI, which, for instance, the largest data facilities are being built in Louisiana and Texas, and these are millions of square feet, and it sucks up water and resources, and the argument, you're not really hearing too much about this in the media, is these centers will bring just store the AI information. Remember, the AI, it's artificial. I don't even like artificial intelligence because something fake can't be intelligent in my book. How can it be intelligent? It's fake. It's a machine. It's nothing. But AI scrapes the internet and gets all its information. And it's storing in these machines, and who knows what's going on in these buildings. But it's using resources that we, the people, desperately need. But the argument you'll hear always is, and people are pushing back. I just saw Plant City, Florida, for instance, somewhere around there, right? Building a huge facility. I never even heard about it before. I just heard about it the other day. And it's going up. It's not even like they have town halls or you vote on it. These things are just being slapped up. And I think also, I don't know, don't hold me to this one. We're driving in New Jersey and we're on the turnpike. I see some of these massive warehouse facilities being built. I bet you some of these are for AI as well. But people are fighting back. They don't want it in their communities. They don't want their water used. They don't want, power. Remember, you're paying for that. The power. Why do you think everybody's power bills are going up so much? Squirrely Wifey says there's 3 or 4 going up in Northwest Indiana right now. Yeah, I think they're just like putting them up in every state. They have to accommodate all this information, right? And nobody has a vote. So these people in Plant City, I think it was somewhere in Plant City, they were holding this meeting, and it was just like 200 people. But they were fighting back, and I was so proud of them to see this. But big tech or government will tell you, well, it's going to bring 100 million to your community. Yeah, I'd like to see that, right? It's going to bring jobs. What jobs? We know. We're warriors, we know. AI is replacing people. Yeah, we know. There's some benefits. AI has to be built in mind of people, for children. We don't work for AI. AI has to work for us. But the battle is real. The fight is real. And it's not good. And I've been very disturbed about AI. Jamie, thank you very much. Thank you for your support. As always, our support goes into our education programs. We just signed up for another school in Rockland County, New York today. We're going into the high school on May 14th. I'll tell you more about that coming up, to teach the kids about all of these issues and what to look out for, and talk to them and get their thoughts on all of this, right? High school kids are smart, and what they're going through, and they are pushing back, and I've been invited. I also bring along our great colleagues at the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, especially when I just told you about this new drug that's 10 times stronger than fentanyl. I mean, fentanyl is a killer. And 10 times stronger, I guess, is 10 times stronger killer being cut into, as they call it, recreational drugs. We got to warn the kids, right? Anytime I talk about marijuana to adults, they fight me on it. When I tell them, and I get my information from the DEA, and I trust them, that a lot of marijuana, they also put fentanyl into, right? Most people aren't going to those, whatever they're called, licensed cannabis. We have them in New York. Licensed cannabis shops. Interestingly enough, every time I pass one and look in, there's like nobody in them, which tells me people are still buying them online or from a dealer or from, I don't know, whatever. They're not going to these shops. So how do you know what you're really getting? Okay? I just thought I'd throw that in. But people fight me when I tell them about, the potency and the this and the that. They're like, no, I'm making it up. It's not true. The other thing I want to point out, I'm tired of the argument of, big tech does employ bots. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. Seems when I post something about Kids Online Safety Act, Senate Version 1748, the gold standard, duty of care. I'm going to keep saying that so everybody's brainwashed about that. That's what we're fighting for right now on Capitol Hill. The big tech, they step up. They see something, they take it down. They see something, they don't allow it. Very basic. Right now, the states have done much better work on safety for our kids online, right? But the federal government right now wants to come in and preempt all of that, wipe the slate clean and have one standard coming from the top, from the federal government, to wipe out everything the states have done, the good laws to protect kids and families. Well, they can try, and they will try, because this is the direction they're heading. But there'll be a lot of lawsuits. This will not happen overnight. States will not allow this. Again, the states have done, shout out to them, much better job than the federal government protecting kids online and deep fakes and not waiting for the federal government. Again, we don't like even that idea of federal government, We have no choice. They are allowing big tech to harm our children and families. So we have to draw a line in the sand, and we need something right now. It's very basic. Kids Online Safety Act, not too much to ask everybody. Speaker Mike Johnson, I hope to be seeing you Tuesday, because you owe it to us. If you can meet with Mark Zuckerberg and all these other people, which is fine, do what you want, you have to meet with American parents. You have to hear from us, okay? I say that very respectfully. But it is ridiculous that we have to fight so hard and talk about something like the Kids Online Safety Act, the Senator Marsha Blackburn and Senator Richard Blumenthal version. It's been about over 4 years now. But anyway, all of our, to get back to all of our support and donations go into our education programs. We buy things for the kids, and also goes into our travel, and also goes to support our survivors, which we do a lot of work with behind the scenes. I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's a very private thing we do at the Warriors. I don't want pictures of people. I don't want to say, hey, look at me, look what we do. Very private. So thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Jamie, for saying that. I don't want to get anybody, right? I just want what's right for all of us, for our kids. I'm lucky I'm able to do this, right? But when I see those parents who've lost children and they're fighting so hard to be recognized, to be heard, the best thing that happened to them, it's hard for me to say the best thing that happened to them when their child's no longer here, okay, is the 2 court cases recently. New Mexico, consumer protection laws that big tech allowed basically predators online with children, okay? And then California, back-to-back, product liability. They knowingly created a harmful product. We know from the whistleblowers, internal memos, psychologists, everybody was... So that was a win. Those parents at least could take a breath and say, okay, we've got some proof on our side now that we're not crazy, because a lot of them tell me this. People treat us like we're crazy. I started somewhere, but then I went off on something else. Big tech with their bots. When I post about the Kids Online Safety Act, these bots have like 2 followers or 0 followers, and they always have like a cartoon head. There's like nothing, and they all say the same thing to me. Okay, big tech, sticks and stones, go ahead, whatever. But can you imagine those bots? This is what I always think about. Or just this cyberbullying, which I didn't even realize until the last few years is so prevalent and bad with kids. And this is why kids are taking their lives. Some of them just can't take it. This onslaught of, even to me, with the bots, they say horrible things too, and they're allowed online to say these horrible things, which I can't repeat here. We're a family show on the Warriors. Imagine a child, 12 or 14-year-old, having this deluge of horrible things being said, and they can't. It's so disturbing. And big tech allows that. They don't censor that. Surely we all know how they censor. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Trump talk in the past. Maybe now. Or maybe vaccine talk. Or they know how to censor all that stuff. But not this horrible onslaught of attacking. Okay? But the playbook also for big tech, which is so horrible for these such good parents that we know, that we work with, and there's thousands more across the United States that can't. This core group of parents, and it's growing and growing. There are thousands more that just can't talk about this. They can't come forward. They just can't. Their lives are ruined, right, when their child's no longer around. they always blame the parents. That's the playbook. Well, I'm here to say that I know great parents who did everything correct with their kids, okay? Their kids still are not here. So don't say it's up to the parents. Oh, that's what the bots are always saying. And they curse at me and they say, oh, it's up to the parents and all. Stop with that, okay? Just stop with that. Yes, parents do have a duty, but so does big tech, I'm here to say. So now we're burdening the parents totally? No, it's a combination of, yes, today you have to, if you buy those devices, you pay for the internet, the routers, you got to try hard. I know everybody's tired and overwhelmed, but I am talking about an American crisis. I think you all know that. And it's only just begun. And remember, our kids and our grandkids are going to be adults. I'm completely frightened. But that instills in me to work harder, to bring all of you in, to educate each other, to take action. Just do it in your own home and community. And that's good enough, your own home. I want to point out, again, there's a lot of hope. We are having that vigil Tuesday, Capitol Hill. If any of you want to come to Washington and hear me, you're in the Washington area, please contact me. I'll give you the information. I also want to say, remember, our kids are watching all of this. Watching all of this. Your homework, I'm going to go back on. I really want you to focus with the kids. I say it all the time. Talk to your kids or grandkids about all this stuff, age appropriate. But you have to know yourself what's going on, right? I'm always educating the adults about all this. And yes, we're busy working, paying bills, and trying to just live our lives. But it's just, I don't know about you, but I feel like maybe it happens when you get older, right? Speeding up. Things are going so fast. And that's what, big tech and predators, they count on. Like, you're so busy living, they can sneak all this stuff up behind you. But we at the Warriors are here to warn you and tell you and help you take action. Right now, there is a terrific, speaking of AI, our great partners, our colleagues at Fair Play for Kids. I'll put this in the body of the video as well. Fairplayforkids.org is the website. They have a great, right now, you can go on our Warriors Twitter and Facebook, or go directly to Fair Play for Kids. I lay it out for you. They lay it out for you as well. They have a position statement, they have a petition to sign, and a one-pager about get AI out of the classrooms. Because we're finding out, and they do terrific work with kids' studies in the schools, right? That this AI, unbeknownst to parents or consenting, the parents aren't even consenting, they don't even know what's happening, that they're dumping the AI in the classrooms. Again, with, the Gemini. Every parent I ask, they're like, oh yeah, I think my child's in Gemini. Oh yeah, I signed the beginning of the year, I just checked off the boxes. Understand about these AI companions. So Fair Play has put out, I'd like all of you to read that, what's happening, just so you know. Because even if you don't have a child, you have a family member with a child, you have a neighbor with a child, somebody with a child in your church or your synagogue, your community, your storekeeper, everybody knows somebody with a child. But not only that, I ask you to sign the petition. It is not hard to just sign a petition. All the work is done for you, okay? We need names, and zip codes on things. That's the ask I have for you. So again, it's getting AI. We want a pause. Fair Play is asking, which we have signed on to this with Fair Play and over 260 other organizations and experts, asking for a 5-year pause. AI is here to stay. Like, we're not going to get rid of it. Let's face reality, everybody. We're all about truth and reality on the Warriors. So what are we going to do? We're going to ask for a 5-year pause so it can be studied. We can see the effects, because we learned from social media, as I put that in air quotes, right? It's anything but sometimes, right? The harms caused to children and to all, anything I talk about with the children also applies to adults who have been harmed, and addictions and comparisons and the slop and just taking up your time and your mind, and when you could be doing so many other things. You could be out with nature, you could be doing art, you could be listening to music, you could be reading a book, you could be just conversing with a neighbor or a family member. We got to get back to that. Teach your kids cursive writing. Do it on your own, right? There's so many great programs for kids like homeschooling now, even if you don't homeschool. There's so much, the internet is good. There's a lot of good stuff where you can pick up like about different activities for kids and things like that. Let's leverage the internet for good. So that's your homework, Fair Play for Kids. I want you to sign the petition if you so choose. And your other piece of homework I mentioned the other day, Jamie says, children in schools should be nowhere near AI. Certainly not. When teachers are reporting to us, they don't understand it. Kids, no regulation. And look at the state of our kids right now. Okay? Thank you. I love all of you back. Okay? Yeah. Jamie says, I would have cheated big time at school with AI. Well, I mean, it's easy to use ChatGPT and say, okay, give me this, give me that. If you're going to use ChatGPT, and most kids are, as a parent or grandparent, or like we have to instill in the kids, okay, you're going to use it with us, or you're going to use it, for one thing a day, and we're going to oversee it. Like, because again, we can't, we're not going to stop this. Let us be realistic. It's like we're not going to stop sex trafficking. When I first started saying that, a lot of people got mad at me. We're just not. We're not going to do it in my lifetime or yours. We want to. We want to end it. It's not realistic, but we can intervene. We can educate. We can prevent new victims and help those, right? Like, this is where our government should be concerned right now with all of these things and putting the monies into all of this and making kids stronger and empowered and making our schools, which are failing, right? Across the board, all 50 states. A great read is Failure Factory, and I've interviewed him. Go back and look. Chris Papps, Fox 45, Baltimore, investigative reporter. He lays out for Baltimore, okay, Maryland, everything going on in the school system and the waste and the theft and all of these things I never even knew. But everything Chris writes in this book, Failure Factory, 8 months, by the way, Amazon bestseller. It's like nonstop. I'm trying to get the book. I'm trying to help him get the book into 4,000 libraries across the United States because we need everybody to read this. Everything he writes about Baltimore and Maryland applies to all the other states. It points out the patterns of theft, the strength the Board of Ed has. Like, I didn't even know these things, okay? Almost like cartel organized crime. Who knew? For instance, Baltimore hiring 10,000 new, I think it was 10,000 he told me. Yeah, it was 10,000 new school employees. And I'm like, oh, that's great because they're failing so much. 10,000, that's a lot. 10,000. Think about that. That's a lot of people. I'm like, great. Teachers, teachers' aides, librarians. He said, no. 200 put into the schools. And all the other ones are like clerical jobs. I'm like, what? Look at all that theft. When those monies could be spent on empowering our kids. So despite, for instance, Baltimore spending millions and millions more each year, it's like everybody's failing and they just pass them on because you make money. Kids can't read and write. We hear this all the time, right? I've heard from professors at universities, colleges, kids are showing up in college, they can't read and write. That's pretty disgusting, okay? We just shoo them on because it's about money. Each child is money. For instance, in Baltimore, Chris was telling me, he writes it in the book, there's one day a year in September you show up, that child shows up, and you get X amount of dollars for the entire year for that child, even though that child never shows up again. They showed up for one day, okay? And so there's a push to get the kids all in on this one day in September. They get all the money. And I'm like, but what happened to like truancy? He's like, nobody's looking for them. Nobody's doing anything. So I think maybe our government should be concerned about all these issues and empowering kids and reading and writing and science and history. Kids are not learning the history. I guess the true history of our country. They're going to go, imagine the kids 20 years from now. What do you think they'll be taught the history of the United States like right now? Can you imagine? I can't. So now we're dumping AI into the schools. But I'm going to leave you on this note. Yes, Jamie says Baltimore has been this way for a long. It has, but Failure Factory points out so many things that apply, and this is where you have to push back. So if you do have a child in school, you go to those Board of Ed meetings, you go to those parent-teacher meetings, you have every right to go to your school very, very nicely, respectfully, and ask, what's the curriculum? What are you doing about AI in my child's class? Or Simple things that a lot of parents say to me, oh, I didn't know I could do that. The smartest people I know ask questions. I want all of you to ask questions. Okay. And I want to leave you with, so we're going to focus everybody on AI. Okay. We're going to take a breath. We're going to focus on Tuesday. We're going to have a very, we want your prayers and your thoughts, because all of these beautiful parents, we are there for them, the warriors, to empower them, to be a shoulder to lean on, to use our voice if they can't, because it's a very emotional. Anytime I'm with the parents, it's unbelievable. And they are the voices for all those parents and children out there that are no longer here or cannot speak. And these people in Washington and Capitol Hill, we very respectfully say, work for us, right? And so they need to answer to us. And no longer this, that, the other thing. We want some answers now. We want Kids Online Safety Act, Senate Version 1748. Your other piece of homework is go to Dirty Dozen List, dirtydozenlist.com. You will find the annual campaign from our great friends, our colleagues at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation in DC. They put out these 12 entities every year that are major facilitators of exploitation for our kids, right? Harm our kids. And they call them out. And they've been doing this since 2013. And they've had great success in companies stepping up and correcting things, making changes that benefit our kids. The list is there. I understand a couple of the companies, X is on the list, right, are already in touch, or I think they already had a meeting, the National Center, with X, how they can better make the platform, safer for kids. For the first time, there's a person on the list. That would be Mark Zuckerberg. Why I'm telling you about this, because I do like to give homework, okay? And these 12 entities, or I'll say 11 entities in this person, if you go to Dirty Dozen List, okay, each one, Amazon, Android, App Store, Chromebook, Discord, Grok, Snapchat, Steam, Telegram, TikTok, X, and Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody has a box. It explains it. But what I need you to do is to add your name to each box. It really does take about 5 minutes. So the center has done all the work for you. But by adding your name to what we find problematic with the company or the person, Mark Zuckerberg, and you hit the send, it goes directly to that company. And again, we need names. So please go to dirtydozenlist.com and sexualexploitation.org. It's all the same, National Center on Sexual Exploitation, and help us with this campaign, because this is what counts the most. That I can talk to colleagues of mine, and because we're in all of this, but we need the public. We need you as warriors to step up and help us. So I'm asking all of you to have a little, over the weekend, please take a few minutes. Please take a little bit of time. Do this. Help us. And I want to go back and thank Jamie for your support. It means a lot. Edie for all your likes. Remember, this is free. Would you please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, LYNN'S Warriors, as we climb up the rope to success here, because, a lot of things we talk about aren't popular. And again, algorithms might hold us back, perhaps. And we want to get on board. We want you to get the information and spread it for us. And it's free. So hitting the subscribe button, because the last time I looked last week, it was like 78% of people who watch all the videos are not subscribed. So please subscribe. It helps us out. And with that, I want to tell everybody, again, to take a breath. There's a lot of good stuff happening. I wouldn't say that unless it was true. I have seen how in the last year, people are stepping up, stepping out, participating, wanting to know more. Kids fighting back. We have a lot of young people, 20 to 30, fighting back. They've been used as guinea pigs with social media. They're angry now. They don't want any of this. More kids getting off the devices, even if not, permanently, putting them down more. We see a lot of teachers waking up. We see a lot of parents waking up. And with that, I have to say, it's all good for today. So I'll be back soon. We have a lot more to talk about. Please always follow lynnswarriors.org. We're on X, We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And those of you who are writing, I'm going to digress here for a second, who are writing to me and reaching out about my husband Lionel, you can hear him on He's Not Going Anywhere. This is an incredibly, I don't know how he does it. He is all over the place doing so many terrific and great things. But you can hear him every Saturday and Sunday on WABC Radio. That is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern Time. He is there with the Lionel Show. Not going anywhere. And I'm not going anywhere. So let's all do it together. Remember, when you wake up each and every day, be kind. And also go out and be a warrior. Thanks, everybody.